Just to put things in perspective, Israel does not recognize any foreign citizenship to any Palestinian. Israel does not recognize my American citizenship because I come from a Palestinian origin. I was born in Palestine. That means I cannot go, according to the Israeli law, to JFK and fly into Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. If I do that, I will face the same consequences that Habib and his sons faced. The problem is not Israel. The problem is with our State Department that allows Israel to discriminate against American citizens who are from Palestinian origin. So the fight is not with the Israelis, the fight is with our State Department, where they need to say to Israel, you have to respect all the rights of all Americans, no matter what their origin is. That is the main issue for us here. And the problem that we are seeing today, that America is allowing Israel to discriminate against its own citizens who are from Palestinian origins. America has given a permission to Israel, you can do this. And that is the core problem here. Why, let's say, Tom can go and fly from Tel Aviv from JFK to Tel Aviv, and I cannot. We are both Americans. We both pay taxes. We both good people. But he can, but I cannot. Why? Because I was born in Palestine. It is not only about humiliation, it is also about control. Israel wants to control the ins and outs and every aspect of the Palestinian life. Not only that, they try to make it as miserable as possible so we don't go back. They try to make it as hard as they can so we don't go back. So it is really a psychological war on the Palestinians who wants to go and visit. Now, I just want to let you know, this is not only for Palestinian Americans. My cousin who lives in Chile, thank God I called him today and he's okay after the earthquake. Last year he flew from Chile to Tel Aviv and he was treated the same way, where he was arrested, he was humiliated, and he was deported. And he has Chilean passport. So it doesn't matter which passport you carry, it is the fact that you are born in Palestine. Israel does not recognize your foreign citizenship. So our fight is with the State Department, where we need to go and tell them, listen, you have to protect the rights of every American. And our passport says to every country around the world, you have to respect the carrier of this passport and give them every possible courtesy that you can. They do that to anybody except the Palestinians. And that is not right. So the problem is that they allowed Habib to get on the airplane at JFK. If you have a problem, you should tell him at JFK, sorry, you are not allowed to travel into Israel. Not allow him to get all the way to Israel, then send him back. They have the passport control here, they do everything. I'm sure they do all the screening before they have somebody. Yeah. So they do everything before the airplane takes off from here. They could have told him very easily, excuse me, you're not allowed to come. And that would have solved the problem. But just to go through this horrendous experience, Israel managed to take every right from us. And now, even though we live in the free world, still we are oppressed and controlled by Israel in our movement, which is just, to me, blows my mind away. And my country of choice, America, says it's okay. Israel can do this to you. So my story is actually a little bit different from Habib, because I went through the bridge where I flew to Jordan, and I was traveling from Jordan to Palestine, Israel. But in 2003, the Israeli border control refused to allow me, and they gave my wife and my kids visas, and they sent me back with no explanation, no reasoning, or any justification. My brother-in-law was dying, so I went to the American embassy the next day to seek their help. I said, my brother-in-law is dying. He can die any moment now. I need to go in and see him. I need your help. And they said, we cannot help you. Anything to do with the security of Israel. We cannot help you. I said, what you are telling me, I am a risk at the security of Israel as an American citizen. And they refused to answer the question. So the American embassy in Jordan was absolutely useless. They refused to do anything. They refused to give any courtesy. They refused to make any phone call in a humanitarian cause that we have some. And actually, the next day, my brother-in-law died. You know the story, Tom. So I was not able to go to see him before he died or go to his funeral. And I was in Jordan while my wife and kids were in Palestine with the family. In 2006, we went back. Again, we flew into Jordan to go into Palestine, and they gave me and my kids permission to go, but they refused to give my wife permission. And we were going for my nephew's wedding. So here I am, ended up at the wedding with my kids in Bethlehem without my wife. It was a miserable time for my kids. They were crying, they were younger, and they wanted their mother to be with them. So they always try to find a way to separate families, make it difficult, to make it hard. And they're just telling you, not by words, by action, we don't want you to come back. I think that is the message that they are trying to give to all of us. We don't have a citizenship. We have a travel document, and we have an Israeli issued ID, which will identify your name, your date of birth, your religion,
For discrimination.
and where you live. That's what the ID card. And the ID card used to be color coded. So Jerusalem will be blue, West Bank will be orange, and those who went to prison will be green. After a while, the whole West Bank became green. It's like all of us are prisoners, which it is, and that's how we feel. My wife, Grace, which Tom knows very well, she carries the Jerusalem ID card, which is the blue card. In 2006, when we went there, they took it away from her. They said, because you lived more than 6 months outside of Jerusalem, you are not allowed to have this, and they took it. Now they're trying to force Habib to take his, while they took my wife's away. Why? His card is the West Bank card. My wife is the Jerusalem card. They're trying to decrease the Arab population in Jerusalem and increase the Jewish population in Jerusalem. So you can understand the game, where they're taking the Jerusalem ID cards from the Palestinians and including the settlements around Jerusalem into Jerusalem so they can increase the Israeli population.
They're revoking those ideas.
Yeah, and I want to tell you something. My cousin Jamal, who lives in Chicago, left in 1987, and he lost his ID. As Habib said, he was out of the country for 3 years, so he lost his Palestinian ID card. My aunt went to war with the Israeli government. She did the impossible. She hired lawyers. She paid money to get his ID back, and they told her no. We call it Lam Shimel, which is kind of right to return. And the Israeli government denied it. And they said no. His father got sick and he was dying, so he flew to go to visit his father. And they stopped him. They said, no, you cannot come in. He said, why? He said, because you have Palestinian ID. He said, I don't. You took it away. I don't have it. My mother tried the impossible to get it back from me, and you guys refused. Nope, here's your ID card. Go issue an ID. And he went and issued an ID. After all this, they refused to give. Now they give it to him. And I think it's part of continue to control the Palestinian population. Where you come in, where you go out from, who you are, you control your movement. It is at the moment you go back, you lose every right you have. And you live in that little 1 mile square that they permit you to be living in. If you want to go to Jerusalem, you have to go apply for military permit, where they will assign for you which way you can go in, which way you come out, from one time to what time. And if you violate that, you will be imprisoned and fined. And that is the fact that we have to live with as Palestinians. If a Russian guy was born in Russia and he claims to be Jewish, the moment go to Israel and touch the ground in Israel becomes a citizen. I was born there, I'm not a citizen. And that's all part of the aliyah, whatever they call it, the right of return. What is it?
Aliyah.
Aliyah. which is the right of return to the Israelis, where we don't have that right. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank
we
you.
took much of your time.
Thank you very much.